All right, so I got a video for you here from P's World. Feminist single mothers are threatening little boys after Trump's win. Now, this video was made 9 months ago, right after Trump won the election. So we can kind of see what was going on back then, the fears that everybody had of the coming impending doom of Donald Trump taking the reins of society and how it was going to oppress women while at the same time just severely oppressing men, because that's how everything is in this country. Just more and more oppression towards men. But right now what we see on the screen is women have been oppressed. And it says women's rights are human rights. How are women being oppressed? You might be able to say that in the past, yes, women were oppressed. But that was a necessary evil. And it wasn't really even an evil. It's like, do you want to make babies? Do you want to have a civilization function? Well, you're going to have to get married if you want to have sex, because we can't have babies running around willy-nilly. How are you going to go to work while you're pregnant, while you're nursing, while you're raising children? So somebody has to be in the home taking care of the kids, raising the kids. And that means somebody else has to be out earning a living so that you don't end up homeless. Oh, what a terrible, tragic system that we had. You can see this in the end of the new, it's not new now, but I mean, the new, what was it? Rooster Cogburn movie came out in, what was that? 2013? Let me pause this and take a look here. True Grit. So in the end of that movie, the girl here, let's see, she's all growing up, even though she would have been growing up by the time. I mean, she's 14. She would have been in her adult size. That's just how that works with women. But in the end, she's like, I never had a family or kids. I didn't have time for that foolishness. And she had built an economic empire. Well, see, there was the give and take. There was a trade-off. It's like a woman could either be a professional woman or she could have a family. She couldn't do both. Unlike today where I think, we can do everything. Women can do everything. Whatever. It's ridiculous. And then, everything suffers because of it. Your kids are running the streets like wild animals. Anyway, let's get into this video and see what women were talking about 9 months ago.
Women have been oppressed, and I know people still refuse to accept it today. How we have certain standards to recruit people of ethnic origin. We need to do the same with women. How many women builders are there? And women don't want to be builders. I'm telling you now, if someone had told me when I was younger I could earn 150 a day as a bricklayer, of course I'd do it.
No, you would not. 100%. This woman right here would not be a bricklayer for 150 pounds a day. There's just absolutely... Look at her. The hair, the makeup, everything. Oh, you're going to forego all that to break a nail while you're using a jackhammer or whatever it is you're doing? I remember it was a big deal when I was a kid. Finally had the first woman on a construction site. It was a big deal. What were women doing this? It's not a woman's job. And what did they end up doing most of the time, from what I saw? Holding the signs, the slow or stop signs. So not really doing anything that a man couldn't do, obviously. But yeah, women have not been oppressed in a long time. You can do whatever you want to do for a job. And maybe you should just shut your hole and get a job laying bricks then, if it's that awesome for you as a job opportunity.
If you voted for Donald Trump, I sincerely hope that today is a day of celebration for you. I hope that you are excited to see all of the change that this man is going to bring to our country. And when he is in office, and when inflation gets worse, and when the prices of goods are higher because of his tariffs, when taxes are raised for the average American worker, when more women, more sisters, more daughters, more mothers, more wives die because of his abortion bans, when we lose our fight to climate change and we see natural disasters worse than anything we have ever experienced before, when people are losing their cars, their homes, their jobs, their loved ones overnight, losing everything that they have worked their entire lives for.
Donald Trump didn't implement the abortion bans. That was the Supreme Court. And it's not an abortion ban. It's just kicked it back to the states. The states can decide. If you don't like your state's laws on abortions, move to a different state. And I don't hear anybody out there saying, like, if your pregnancy is threatening your life, young lady, too bad. You got to have the baby anyway. Because Kristen is her name, apparently. If you die while you're pregnant, there's a good chance your baby will die too. Okay? So it's the lesser of the two options, the two evils again. It's like, well, we're going to have to abort the baby to save your life, and then maybe you can get pregnant again later on. Or else we could lose both of you. What the hell? Young woman here with a pride flag next to her name, who is clearly reading her points. So, all right. Good job.
No, because I want you to hear me when I say with my full fucking chest, if you voted for Donald Trump, I want you out of my life. Because at a base level, I don't care for friends. I don't care for family. Because if I'm going into a future where interracial marriage is even up for debate, I don't want you at my wedding.
I didn't realize that interracial marriage was on the docket here. Is he challenging interracial marriage? And what would that do to the millions of Americans who are in an interracial marriage? And why is it so important for you, young lady, to be in an interracial marriage? What benefit do you get from that? Don't understand, but what do I know? I mean, I don't have a septum ring, so.
Future where interracial marriage is even up for debate, I don't want you at my wedding. I don't want you there. If I travel out of state while on my period and my blood condition causes me to start hemorrhaging, and I happen to be in a state where women's healthcare is so strictly regulated that doctors feel like they can't interfere because any period-related bleeding could be a pregnancy and there's no interfering in that, and I bleed out and die because of the laws that are going to be left up to states' decisions, I don't want you at my funeral. If the Department of Education is defunded and my children can't go to school unless it's a private institution that we cannot afford, and there's no way to get any assistance in affording this, I don't want you in my kids' lives. And that's just the beginning of it. So honestly, truly, if you voted for Trump, get out of my life.
Well, there's homeschooling, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, if you have a blood condition that might cause you to bleed out, that should be on record. And then, in addition to this, if Camel Toe got into office instead of the Trumpster, do you really think that she would have gone to the Supreme Court and been like, you're making abortion legal across the entire country, no questions asked, unban all abortion laws? The Supreme Court would have laughed her out of the court. They wouldn't, you don't have authority to do that. Oh, she could have made it an executive order, and the court could have said no. Good luck.
My 13-year-old daughter said that today at school there were boys everywhere wearing red Trump hats and commenting to the girls, "Your body, my choice." And I just want the record to show that I told her if anyone says that to her, she has my full support in punching them in the fucking face and kicking them in the nuts.
Of all the things that didn't happen, this probably didn't happen the most. Schools today, as far as I know, maybe I'm wrong, because I'm not in school, but they don't allow any sort of political clothing to be worn. Nothing at all. They're not allowed to express any of that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do. But so what? They're 13 years old.
This is a message to all the conservative boy moms. Let me tell you something. You better handle your sons, because the first one of them little bits that walks up to my daughter and says, "Your body, my choice," is going to be picking themselves up off the ground. You see, I didn't raise little demure little mindful angels. No. I raised little feminist hellraisers, little forces of nature who take no prisoners in the fight for justice and equality, and every single one of them has had martial arts. So unless you want some really expensive dental bills in your future, I recommend you handle your boys. Thank you, and have the day you deserve.
Someone that is hated on the right and the left, he has completely broken you guys. Completely broken you guys. No one is running around out there saying that. No one. There's no little boys running around going, "Your body, my choice." Like, get the fuck out of here.
I have no doubt in my mind that there are boys out there running around saying, "Your body, my choice," as a joke. Everybody knows that it's illegal to enslave anyone, to force sexual contact onto anyone. That's just not the case. So if they're saying that, they're not sincere, because they know it's going to get a rise out of your children. And I'm sorry, lady who thinks that her daughters are all badass. Going to punch the boys, beat them up, knock their teeth out, and have expensive dental bills. There are boys out there who have martial arts training who might be saying this thing. So do you really want to encourage your daughters to do that? When I was in junior high school, there was a kid that was in class with me. There was actually two. One was named Chris. I don't remember the other guy's name. They were both over 6 feet tall, I think, at 13 and 14. 13, yeah. They're over 6 feet tall. You think your little 5'2" daughter is going to be mouthing off to those boys and busting their teeth out? Mm-hmm. Good luck.
Y'all, when I tell you this is not a fucking drill, I'm speaking directly to women right now. Men, I don't really care what the fuck you do. Keep scrolling. This is not for you. To the women out there, the men are already on their bullshit. They're already out here spewing crazy ass shit. I literally just passed a TikTok video where someone had posted a whole thread of all these different comments from men today saying, "Your body, my choice. Get in the kitchen where you fucking belong, bitch," and all types of other shit. Long story short, get you one of these, and get you one of these, girl. Get it all and learn how to fight, because we got a long, long 4 years ahead of us, girl.
Wow. So get you one of these, one of these, and one of these. What she made the hand gesture for was a gun, a taser, and a knife. Hey, ladies, don't rely on a knife. That knife will be taken away from you and used against you. And if it isn't used against you, well, a man's fist is usually enough to break your face. So you don't want to go down that road. But what is happening now? Oh, Trump has gone to lengths to increase the safety of the average American citizen. That seems to be like his number one issue right now. It's like, got to bring in the National Guard, got to bring in ICE, got to bring in the Marines, got to get rid of these illegals, and got to stop all the murders. Oh, yeah. You're going to need to get those 3 weapons, ladies, and also learn how to fight. Don't forget to learn how to fight, because, the crime is going to rise. It's all, your body, my choice, it's all over the place. That's all it is. And just so you know, again, I know the average person listening to my YouTube channel right now, maybe there's a visitor, though, who hasn't ever been here before. The vast majority of men do not want to hurt women. That's not what we want to do. Quite the opposite. We want to bring you great amounts of pleasure. I don't know what to tell you, ladies. Do you think it's all about control and domination? I've had women tell me that's what they want. They want to be dominated. If that's what they enjoy, okay, I'll be the dominant one. I don't mind at all.
I know right now there's a lot of women upset about the reproductive rights here in America. But what they fail to realize is that their right was never taken away. We have always had the right to open our legs or close our legs. We just don't want to use that right. 99% of abortions are not from women being taken advantage of. They're from women having low values, low morals, low standards, and no discernment. But they march behind women who have been taken advantage of or who have had extreme medical emergencies during pregnancy. But that's not majority of the women. We're in this funny limbo of history where good is called bad and bad is called good. So saying that I should not get rid of a baby that I was fully aware of what I was doing when I lay down to get pregnant with the baby.
Well, a woman here who actually gets it, who actually understands what's going on in the world. And these women, we know that a lot of these women get it, and they just cannot allow themselves to vocalize that they understand that, yeah, I'm using abortion as birth control because I am disrespectful and immoral. What the hell?
I just wanted to go on this little baby rant about Rachel Zegler. She's the young woman that was cast as Snow White. It has proven to be Disney's worst investment ever in the history of Disney investments. I mean, they've gone through various scandals with this girl, not because she can't keep her mouth shut. I'm totally fine with with the celebrities telling me what their politics are, who they're voting for, et cetera, et cetera. We've become accustomed to that. But because she has this underlying anger and hatred in her that always has to take it like one step too far. So first and foremost, if you're going to be cast as Snow White, maybe appreciate the original Snow White and don't do a tour talking about how, essentially implying that it's wrong and backwards and it's not 1937, whatever. That was like her initial spree, and everyone was like, okay, do you want to be Snow White or do you hate Snow White? Do you want to destroy Snow White? They went way too woke. They ended up kind of changing the whole movie and said, never mind, we're going to shelve it and do it later. So essentially, election night happens, Trump wins, and Rachel decides to go on really just a psychopathic, demented rant, basically accusing all Trump supporters of being awful people, which is par for the course. I'm okay with that. But then she wished harm on Trump and all of his supporters for the next years to come. Right. So like she leveled up, and it didn't just stop at like, I disagree with you. She basically was like, my daughter won't be able to kill her offspring in the future because, you know, when you are just so remarkably privileged and in a bubble and nothing about this economy affects you and you're so out of touch, you've never probably even spoken to a farmer or a rancher. You don't know any people to speak up who have issues filling up their tank. You've just been living in Hollywood, la la land for so long that you're just deranged. Like this is the consequence of Rachel Zelger. You essentially arrive at, well, the thing that's really hard in my life is imagining my little daughter, who's probably 10, she's probably prepubescent, given the fact that Rachel herself is very young. What's her daughter, like a toddler, I'm assuming? Well, when she grows up, in case she wants to kill her offspring, I can't do that. Like, which is also, by the way, shows you how fundamentally stupid she is, because she doesn't even understand basic civics. She thinks that by saying the federal government can't decide an abortion, that means that abortion is banned. Like this is her operating level of intelligence here, just so you know, just her factory setting of intelligence is so low that she actually believes that her daughter can't get an abortion. So you live in California, you live in a commune. I promise you, your daughter will always be able to kill her offspring since that issue is so important to you. So anyways, she offers up an apology tonight because people were understandably outraged because, well, it turns out that the majority of the country is conservative. The majority of the country actually does care about grocery store prices. It's impacting them. The majority of the country actually does care about gas prices. The majority of the country actually does touch their own door handles. You probably haven't done that in a while. You've been a little star for a while. And the entire map of the United States is actually conservative. And so I'm sure some Disney exec came down on her and she realized, oops, I did it again. I just was a psycho for no reason. And she posts this apology, which is up right now. You can go check it out on her feed. And the apology is basically like, I'm sorry, my emotions got the best of me. And I would just like to formally reject this apology on behalf of the American people because A, there's no substance here, okay? She's only doing this because she wants your dollars, right? She wants the privilege of insulting you, hating you, but then wants you to also show up to her Disney remake of the Snow White that she hates. She thinks we're predictably stupid on top of being racist and backwards and dumb and not woke on understanding why children should be allowed to kill their offspring in the future. Whatever, right? So she would like to also enjoy the privilege of making sure that you're going to come to theaters to keep her relationships with the executives that give her the jobs so that she never has touched her own door handles. Good. She wants to manage those relationships. So she's now asking you to accept her lame ass apology and saying, my emotions got the best of me. No. Your emotions getting the best of you is not when you wish harm on millions and millions of people. That's not normal emotions getting the best of you. My emotions have gotten the best of me before. I raise my voice. I probably raise my voice. I go, wow, my emotions got the best of me. It's very unusual for me to raise my voice. I'm sorry. My emotions got the best of me. Not like I wished harm on an entire population of people because they disagreed with me about children aborting their future children, okay?
And Rachel Zegler, the Snow White movie, was Disney's biggest flop of all time. We got Rachel Zegler's IMDb page right here. Look at this. Up-and-coming starlet, attractive young woman who is being cast in movies. And what happens here? Oh, we have Snow White, which got a 2.1 stars. It's great. But she has nothing upcoming. Not a thing. She has blacklisted herself. See, you can't be shooting your mouth off when you want to have customers. You can't be insulting people when you want to have customers. And in today's world, where everybody is hypersensitive, I can't say things at work that 30 years ago would have been fine. They'd be like, oh, okay, whatever. No big deal.
I am having a hard time explaining this feeling, which is surprising, right? I'm a black woman in America. I'm Congolese and live in America. Of course, I am used to being overqualified and underlooked. I'm used to this feeling of constant disappointment. But this time felt different. Because if a woman like Vice President Kamala Harris, her opponent is a criminal, yet America chooses him. What message does that send to all the other men who are comfortable assaulting women? What message does that send to all the women who have been assaulted? I just feel so defeated. I feel so defeated. I don't even know how to explain this feeling. It's too much because there was never a part of me for a second who thought, like there was even, I am so scared. I think that's really the underlying feeling is I'm just scared. I'm scared. I'm disappointed. I'm hurt. I'm sad. I'm just all of it. And worst of all, is I really actually did not believe this would happen. I truly did. I went to bed confident. And I still don't believe it. I really don't.
So you know that there are people who didn't vote for Trump but voted against Camel Toe, right? That's how this works. She was such a horrendous option to be president. Holy crap. It was like, you're what now? You're running for president? You completely unqualified whore that slept her way to the top and speaks in nonsensical drunken word salad. No. And the lies too, the absurd lies. It's like, oh yeah, I remember Kwanzaa when I was a kid. Kwanzaa didn't come out until after you were, a teenager or whatever. It's just stupid stuff like that. Did you just fall out of a coconut tree?
America likes to think of itself as a leader in women's rights, but it really isn't. Let's look at some of the ways in which women are oppressed in American films. It is very hard in American storytelling to see a woman protagonist who is just a protagonist on her own and the story is just about her. Most of the time there is a male co-protagonist. That is something that you don't see for a lot of male-led films. You will see them just on their own, just the man and his universe. But the women always need a man. There's also the fact that every woman on screen is a supporting character in a man's life, and even the women who are the leads in their own lives, it is at the expense of a man's life. It's always the woman is either adding to a man's life or jeopardizing a man's life by choosing herself. So the man is always at the center. In a lot of stories, the black women are wearing straight hair wigs. And even when they have their curly hair, it's just like one hairstyle throughout a whole series. But that's not the reality because this hair keeps changing every other day. Where is the versatility and the diversity of curly hair?
The reduction of women's rights in films. That's not a reduction of rights. That's just storytelling. Ever seen Aliens? Because the star of the show is just this woman named Ripley. Okay. And then there's this biological thing where men go out and hunt the dragon down, and women stay home with the children because that's just kind of how nature works. in the human sort of thing here. I don't understand how you don't understand this. And then you talk about curly hair, but that's a race thing, not a woman thing. So yeah, I don't know how to at least the way that you're using it, because I mean, like, Emma Watson has curly hair, right? But she doesn't have curly hair. Whenever I see her, she has very straight hair. That's her choice. That has nothing to do with race, though. It's like, obviously Emma Watson is not black, so you really are like scraping the bottom of the barrel to try to find something to be mad about. I just watched a movie yesterday called Miller's Girl. It's on Netflix, and the main character is a young woman named Cairo, and it's actually about how evil she is. So, you know, plenty of movies out there that depict women in starring roles that follow the woman through her trials and tribulations. Maybe it's not the norm, or maybe it's not happening as often as you'd like, but do I really want to watch a movie about a woman who's competent, or do I want to watch one about a man who's competent? Just by the dint of being human. I'm the one who's going to be stronger, have greater endurance, and be driven to do these things more so than a woman is. So I don't know what to tell you. So that's all I got for this time. Thank you, Peace World. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you're still subscribed, because YouTube doesn't subscribe people. You can find me on Rumble. You can find me on Twitter. I will see you all in the next video.